Welcome back to the channel, y'all. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Let's get right into the topic. Derek Chauvin, the police officer who most of us will never forget, who saw the video of him kneeling on George Floyd's neck as that man prayed and begged for his mother and said, "I can't breathe," and then died under his knee. After worldwide protests, Derek Chauvin was sentenced to prison. Some justice was served, which most people thought would have never been served had there had not been that big of a protest. He took it to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court shot down him, asking the Supreme Court to overturn his conviction. On the heels of that happening, news breaks today that Derek Chauvin, the former police officer, was stabbed in prison by a fellow inmate and was in serious condition after the stabbing. No employees were injured, and the FBI was notified. The Bureau of Prisons said, visiting at the facility, which has about 380 inmates, no visitation will happen for a while. Visitation has been suspended. Messages seeking comments were left with Chauvin's lawyers and the FBI. Chauvin's stabbing is the second high-profile attack on a federal prisoner in the last 5 months. In July, a disgraced sports doctor, Larry Nassar, he was stabbed by a fellow inmate at a federal penitentiary in Florida. It is also the second major incident at the Tucson Federal Prison in a little over a year. In November of 2022, an inmate at the facility low security prison camp pulled out a gun and attempted to shoot a visitor in the head. The weapon malfunctioned and no one was hurt. Chauvin, who is currently 47 years old, he was sent to FCI Tucson from a maximum security Minnesota State Prison in August of 2022 to simultaneously serve out a 21 years federal sentence for violating George Floyd's rights and a 22.5-year sentence in a state prison for second-degree murder. Damn. I bet when he was kneeling on George Floyd's neck, he never thought that that level of accountability would have been dished out to him. Chauvin's lawyer, Eric Nelson, he had advocated for keeping him out of general population and away from other inmates, anticipating that he would be a target. In Minnesota, Chauvin was mainly kept in solitary confinement, largely for his own protection. This is what his attorney wrote in court papers last year. Last week, the Supreme Court rejected his appeal of his murder conviction. Separately, Chauvin is making a long-shot bid to overturn his federal guilty plea, claiming new evidence shows he didn't cause George Floyd's death. See, that man was fine before you put your knee on his neck and held him there, even when people were up close recording you doing it and asking you, come on, man, you already got him in handcuffs. At least just turn him over. Let him breathe. You're going to kill him. And he stayed there, knee on his neck. Now they want to say, oh, he had pre-existing conditions of other kinds of health issues going on, or he was severely high out of his mind on some type of drugs, and whatever the case may be. So it has everything to do with anything else, but nothing to do with that knee on his neck. Guess what? The Supreme Court shot it down. Go back to your prison and continue to do your time. George Floyd was a black man. He died May 25th, 2020, after Chauvin, who was a white man police officer at the time, pressed a knee into his neck for 9.5 minutes on the street outside a convenience store where George Floyd was suspected of trying to pass off a counterfeit $20 bill. Passing off a $20 bill that's counterfeit, you as a person who goes to the store takes money out of your wallet, you might not have known that that $20 bill is a counterfeit. For instance, I go shop at Walmart. I receive a $20 bill from one of their cashiers. Then that cashier did not check the $20 bill to see if it was real or fake. And I didn't check it either. I got it from the cashier after purchasing my groceries. I put my groceries in the car. I drove over to the gas station. I stopped at the gas station or the convenience store that has a gas station on it. I stopped there and I gave them two $20 bills. I paired that one I got from Walmart with another one I had in my pocket. And I said, let me get $40 gas on pump number 1 where my car is parked. While I'm out there, I'm surrounded by police officers shortly. What's the problem? One of your $20 bills was a fake $20 bill. Do I deserve to be placed face down on the ground while I'm handcuffed, both hands behind me? I'm telling the police I don't want to die. Please don't do anything to me because I'm in fear of my life and I don't really trust them like that. And then he places a knee on my neck and hold his knee on your neck for over almost 10 minutes while people are screaming, he's dying, you're killing him. And he shows no compassion whatsoever. That level of brutality was not called for a fake $20 bill. So bystanders were there. They video captured George Floyd's fading cries as he says, I can't breathe. I can't breathe. His death touched off protests worldwide, some of which turned violent and forced a national reckoning for police brutality and for racism. 3 other officers were there at the scene, and they received lesser charges for their roles that they played in George Floyd's death. They could have looked at their partner and said, hey man, Derek, get your knee up off his neck. He's going to die. He looks like he's passing out, bro. He's already in handcuffs. Come on, get up. But none of them said anything. They were more concerned about stop videotaping. Move, stand over there. Controlling the people who were around, who were begging Mr. Chauvin to take your knee off his neck. Chauvin's stabbing inside of prison comes as the Federal Bureau of Prison has faced increased scrutiny in recent years following wealthy financier Jeffrey Epstein's jail suicide in 2019. It's another example of the agency's inability to keep even its high-profile prisoners safe after Nassar's stabbing and the Unabomber Ted Kaczynski's suicide at a federal medical center in June. An ongoing AP investigation has uncovered deep, previously unreported flaws within the Bureau of Prison, the Justice Department's law enforcement agency with more than 30,000 employees, 158,000 inmates, and an annual budget of about $8 billion with a B, billion dollars. A lot of money goes into these prisons. AP reporting has revealed rampant sexual abuse and other criminal conduct by staff, dozens of escapes, chronic violence, death, and severe staff shortage that have hampered response to emergencies, including inmates assaulting one another and committing suicide. The Bureau of Prisons Director, Carolette Peters, was brought in last year to reform the crisis that has plagued the agencies. She vowed to change the archaic hiring practices and to bring new transparency, while emphasizing that the agency's mission is to make good neighbors, not good inmates. Because at the end of the day, most of these people who are serving time will one day be back out in society, and they will be our neighbors. So do you want somebody who is totally rehabilitated and has a positive outlook on life living next to you? Or do you want a bitter man who went to prison at 20, came out at 45, served 25 years? He is still young. He is strong at 45. He is at his peak. And he is violent because he has been abused and molested, raped, stabbed, beaten. Nobody cared about him, locked down in solitary confinement, lost his mind, went into psychosis, and now he's sitting next door to you as your neighbor. This is something that society has to think about. But as far as Derek Chauvin goes, majority of the people who I've seen their comments on social media, it is like either a celebration, or some people are saying that it's karma, or others simply are saying, hey, I'm going to the store to go pick up some stuff. Do y'all need anything? In other words, I don't give a damn. Let him go through what he got to go through. When that man was begging for his life, you had no sympathy. So now you're begging for your freedom and we don't care, which is understandable. At the end of the day, we all know how prison is, man. It's nothing new. So I don't know why only when a high profile or a former police officer or former wealthy person gets into trouble behind bars, whether they're raped or stabbed or whatever, is when outside society becomes concerned. There's a lot of people who went to prison on small charges, ended up being men, being raped by other men. You're supposed to be in there for 1 year and you're raped. You're supposed to be in there for 1 year and you're so beaten down that you end up committing suicide. They know what the prison system is like on the inside. Most of the time they wish you good luck and they leave you there, and you have to become a beast in order to survive those beastly conditions. I say that. Leave your comments in the comment section below. Tell me what you think about this one. Tell me how you feel about Chauvin, Derek Chauvin, the man who held his knee on George Floyd's neck for 9.5 minutes. How you feel about him getting stabbed up in prison? According to the reports, he was stabbed multiple times. He was in serious condition. They had to perform life-saving CPR and other things on him until proper medical came to take him to a proper medical facility trying to save his life. So it wasn't like, oh, he got stabbed in the arm, it was a flesh wound, or he got a really bad cut on his arm where it could be taken care of at the prison infirmary. He gets some stitches, he go downstairs, he lays up in the bed for a couple of days. That wasn't the case. He was stabbed. He almost died stabbed. What do you feel about that? Leave your comments in the comment section below. I'll catch you on the next video. It's BrainFLoTv. I'm out. Peace.